好，第3本书正式开始啊，暂时也没有什么片段性需要补的东西了。等第3本书完全结束了，再回去专门搞一期，应该就来了。可能也许会稍微长一点点。Eye of the Storm， 风暴之眼是吧？它那个翻译啊，你想原书名叫 The Pillar of the Earth， 直译不是上帝之柱，中文翻译有2个，一个是叫上帝之柱，柱子的柱，另外一个是圣殿春秋。这2个名字你乍一看根本都不知道原来是同一本书，所以英文名就叫 The Pillar of Earth， 直译就是地球的柱子，所以你要按照它这个意思来说呢，上帝之柱也许更合适一点。那为什么说是这个上帝跟地球有关系？因为他讲的这个柱子就是教堂里的柱子，说是柱子就是教堂里的柱子，但你翻译成上帝的柱子呢，就稍微有点偏。但你要这么想的话，圣殿春秋这名字更偏。所以翻译这个东西有时候很难讲，在我看来是翻译的刚刚恰到好处才是最好的。你要想翻译太多，就把原作有的意思，如果你没翻译出来，那肯定是不妥的。你如果翻译出太多的意思，其实也是不妥的。就原作者都没有表达出的意思，你居然表达出来，就跟以前做什么现代文赏析一样，原作者都没有写出来的东西，你居然把它写到答案里面，这就不合理，单纯就是扯淡。A Mason like Jack.
You're still here.
Oh, it's you. I'm just trying to get my feet used to good solid ground again. The last bit of our voyage wasn't exactly my pint of ale.
这 pint 这个念 pint 吗 ？I'm looking for someone. You're a mason.
That hammer you're carrying. Do you happen to be a mason?
Actually, I am. You have a keen eye, mistress.
I guess I just know a mason when I see one.
To be honest, I haven't been one long. Just finished my apprenticeship in Salisbury. Before that, I used to shear sheep with my parents, but I guess that wasn't really for me. Father still hates me for leaving, though.
Where would a mason go to find work? I left my old life as well.
I'm looking for someone. A red-haired mason called Jack Jackson. He came to France about a year ago or so.
A fellow mason? Great. Unfortunately, I wouldn't know a thing. After all, I just arrived here with you.
I know, but should you meet someone like that on your journey, tell him Aliena of Shiring is looking for him.
All right. Jack Jackson. I'll keep an eye out for you.
Thank you. What will you do to find work here as a mason?
Don't know. That's for me to find out. All I heard was that the wages are better over here.
So you'll just travel from town to town and look for employment?
Right. And I'll start in Lassay. A fellow
Lassay.
mason told me about the abbey there. He said these Normans build their churches quite differently than we do back home. I need to see that with my own eyes. Maybe learn a thing or two.
Maybe Jack went to see the Abbey 还是 Abbey in Lassay.
I left my old life as well.
Scary, isn't it? To start off fresh and all that.
Well, you definitely sound more excited than scared.
Oh, I am excited. Wouldn't anyone be?
I don't know. Maybe. Do many masons go to Lassay?
I don't know. It's really just a tiny town. The mason who told me just happened to do some repairs there once. It's likely he told others as well.
Have a safe journey.
Oh, thank you. You too.
这2个翻译呢，你说哪个好呢？其实也挺难判断。其实你要按照我这个符合原作的标准，其实都不好。但你要真的要符合原作标准，怎么翻译 ？The Pillar of Earth， 那 Pillar 反正就是柱子嘛，是吧？地球的柱子，这个是最直接的翻译。但当然这个是从虽然意思倒是很符合，但是从这个形上面、深层次的含义角度来说，那这个翻译的就太差了。你翻译成这种名字的话，就根本没有人会来看。所以不要想那么多，能看原文看原文，不要想那么翻译不翻译。Not Jack， 你妈这有点那个。
Good day.
啊，咱交流是吧？
I am looking for someone. A traveller who came through here last summer. Oh, hush now. I need to talk to this man.
Looks young.
He was
No,
born
it's
at the
Jack.
beginning of summer.
What's his name?
I haven't given him one yet.
You should. He needs to know who he is. Makes growing up a lot easier. You said you're looking for someone.
The man I'm looking for looks a bit like you, actually. A bit more boyish, though.
So he has red hair, but no beard. Well, I don't know every redhead around these parts. There aren't quite a few of us. Most of my family here in Cherbourg is ginger.
Oh, his name is Jack Jackson, and he is a mason.
No. No, sorry. I haven't seen him. And I come here every day. Maybe a May saw him.
A May?
She helps the sailors get their cargo to the nearby towns. Carries travelers, too.
I'll ask her. Well, thank you.
还能交流吗？
Talk to a May, the coach woman. Maybe she can help.
The coach woman trace Jack's route into mainland Europe. 谁是妹 ？Coach 啊，他是妹。Store， 才有2个 store。They are bargaining for passage, doing business with the English must pay. 啊，还买路费的，相当于护照了，相当于入境了。Going to see the Abbey in Lasay. 哦，对，我都没有确认第3本书有什么成就。是，这是我的疏忽，还好我现在意识到了。Chapter 15, Jack was here. 就这一个。In your search for Jack, you will come across Jack's slingshot and pick it up. You will unlock this achievement. This can't be missed. Can't be missed. 这没问题。Jack's slingshot. Coachwoman appears to be her coach. Be her coach. She must know her way around France.
Hey, you.
Around France.
That's quite a bundle you got there. Where are you headed?
Have you seen a red-haired mason? He must have landed here sometime late last summer.
Another ginger in Normandy? I wouldn't have noticed, even if he was carrying a hammer instead of a fishing rod. Maybe you should ask someone in Barfleur. That's where all the travellers come through, the pilgrims and kings. Their lot rarely lands in Cherbourg, with the fortress passing back and forth between Stephen of Blois and Geoffrey of
果然是念
Anjou.
blue 啊。
Why you even came to Cherbourg in the first place baffles me.
It was the earliest ship I could get.
You must be in some hurry, madam.
Let's just say I needed to get away before I changed my mind.
Fine with me. Who am I to judge?
Maybe in 什么 Barfleur, someone saw Jack. 干嘛都要去 Do you know the road to
Do you know
Lasay?
the road to Lasay?
Lasay?
Been there, seen it.
不是念 Lasay
But I hope you're not planning to go there on foot. Tell you what, you give me some coins and I'll treat you to me wagon. You can even change your destination once we're on the road, would you say?
懂了。看来是要给他钱了是吧 What other routes are there?
What other routes are there besides going through Barfleur?
Oh, I don't know, really. You need to ask the locals about that. But Barfleur sounds like a good place to start. Shake my hand and I'll take you there.
All right. Take me out of town.
All right. Where do you need to be?
啊，这能选的是吧？还能选地方呢？飞弓术啊，飞弓术第一次有用了。我靠，这真的是法国，还可以变大。对，英格兰在上面。这个确实是真的地理吧？是地理位置。离得最近的就是这个点跟这个点，这是法国。巴黎还有巴黎啊，现在这个 France 还不包括 Normandy， 但现实生活中现在。2021年的法国是这里都包括了，这块就是法国，你这不是什么 Le Mans Saint Michel 这名字 Le Mans 这种出来的嘛，肯定就是法国的东西，你还能有什么语言？啊，这两个地方都能去的是吧 ？Barfleur 跟 Lasay 是吧 ？Visit the Abbey in Lasay， 先走近的。The main port into France.
We went to Barfleur, a scenic port town built on granite.
Granite.
It was the biggest harbour in Normandy and the main entry point for the Normans to their new possession of the Isle of England.
问题是有这么多法国人英语说的这么好的，法国人的英语不是出了名的烂
I talked to some of the sailors and fishermen, but no one had remembered seeing Jack. How could they? Almost a year had passed since he a simple mason,
Simple
had
mason.
journeyed through the busy town, a town with no memory other than that of the last king who passed through on yet another one of his violent conquests. Maybe I was approaching this the wrong way. What had drawn him to France in the first place? The distance to Kingsbridge?
他怎么知道他在 France？
Or something specific? What was my lead?
对吧？你为什么要来？别告诉我命运的红线这种扯淡的回答，那我是不同意的。Let's say 哪个近啊？感觉那个远。Try the port，先走这个。Let's say。
Lesay was tiny, but as it turned out, worth the trip.
哦
In the small abbey church of the Trinity,
Trinity
I met a monk who claimed to have talked to a man fitting Jack's description. He'd been fascinated by the abbey's rib vaulting and had asked the monks countless questions about the place's construction. The monk apologized that he couldn't tell me where Jack had traveled next, but I didn't mind.
全世界都在说英语。
I lay down to sleep on the floor of the abbey guest house and, for the first time in almost a year, I felt relief. As I drifted into sleep, I hugged our baby tight and whispered into his tiny pink ear,
Tiny pink
"We're
ear,
going to find your daddy."
find your daddy。为什么说法国人英文差？就不是说他真的差，是因为他地方大，地方大人多，所以大家都说法语就行了，没有必要学英语。越是这样的，你就越不想学外语。这样这里就不能去了是吧 ？Hafler 还要选的什么？那肯定是这儿的 ，Make a stop in Le Mans。Follow the pilgrims to Mons， 这还能选呢？那反正那都写的必经了，哪个比较好呢？就这个吧，看起来风景比较秀丽一点，怎么跟旅游一样呢
My father had once told me tales of the Mont Saint-Michel.
蒙什么
Long ago, the Archangel Michael had urged Hubert of Avranches to build an abbey on a lonely rock on the ocean by burning a hole into his head. They say one can go and see his penetrated skull on display in the church of his hometown.
所以这 T 是不发音的，它这个应该不是念 Saint， 英文当然念 Saint， 应该是念 Saint。Mont Saint-Michel，Mont Saint-Michel，T 是不发音的。它如果真的按照法语的念法。
It was a windy day when I arrived, and the place was crowded with pilgrims and jongleurs. I remembered Jack's fascination with these tellers of stories. I spoke to one who was just taking a break. As it happened, he had indeed met Jack, although not in Mont Saint-Michel,
Mont
but on a
Saint-Michel
road heading east from there.
Mont Saint-Michel。
Apparently, Jack had been hopelessly tracking jongleurs who might have known his father, Jack Cherbourg. But as he'd been gradually running out of money, he'd intended to look for work in Le Mans or Tours.
Le Mans
That was about 6 months ago. I was catching up.
Le Mans 跟 Tours 2选1，这里图标都已经不一样了，什么 Winchester 什么 Kingsbridge 都已经没有了。Le Mans。 搞了半天可能还要去法国啊，
Going
还去
to Le
巴
Mans
黎。
reminded me of all the trouble I'd left behind in England. 30 years ago, Le Mans had been conquered by the Plantagenet Geoffrey of Anjou, Maud's
Anjou.
husband. And although they'd held it ever since, other noble families kept on pulling at the city, like Maud and Stephen tearing at England. There was no sign of Jack, but I got news of a new kind of cathedral being built in Saint-Denis, just north of Paris. It was possible that Jack had gone there to learn from the craftsmen. That was, if he hadn't travelled further south, looking for work in one of the many churches in Tours, the hometown of Saint-Martin.
Saint-Martin，不，地方也太多了吧？这也能选吗？啊，那儿也能选，感觉应该在巴黎。这会去巴黎吧 ？Tour into Tour。The Great Cathedral of 啊，那这里应该是呢。先绕个路。哎，这剧情居然发展了。After 2 months on the road， 我靠，你也是可以。Central France。千里寻夫记。好，操纵来了。Ask around if anyone's seen Jack. 什么东西 ？Statue of Mother Mary. You and me both know being a mother is not easy. 这个 mother 跟你现在的 mother 又不太一样。Construction site, just like in Kingsbridge, although the design looks very different, almost from another world. 这是个人 ，important looking man，important looking man，church design，like the ones Tom used to make，back in Kingsbridge，everything feels so far away now。什么 pointy arch，aren't they usually round？Never seen something like this。进得去吗？进不去，只能问他了。Seems self-assured，a bit of anger on his lip though。self-assured。
I should talk to him first.
啊。
Good day. Are you the master builder?
What is it?
I'm looking for a mason who may have passed through here. An Englishman with carroty hair. He calls himself Jack Jackson.
这应该不叫 Englishman，
A redhead?
应该叫 Welsh。
Yes. Did you see him? He might have asked for work here.
No, I'm not looking for new masons. We're just doing repairs.
Ah, but was he here?
No, never seen him.
那感觉他是骗你。
Now, stand back, woman. Something could fall on your baby's head.
什么 ？I was told he came here. May I talk to your workers? Are there other construction sites around too?
May I talk to your workers?
No, they're busy.
No.
And I can assure you they have nothing to say on that matter.
Perhaps I'll talk to them once they've finished for the day.
It would be a waste of time.
这段不用法语太可惜了。You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. 是啊，确实如此。
You hesitated when I mentioned a redhead. Are you sure you haven't seen him?
Yes, I am sure.
算了，这
Are there other construction sites around Tours?
Well, yes, it's a big town.
And where would an outsider most likely find a job?
Dunno. Ask around.
态度好差啊，这人。那看来只能走了。
All right, he was here. Was working for me. But I had to throw him out after 2 or 3 days.
Why?
Because he was all want. Let me redesign the roof, let me make the nave lighter. All pretty ideas, but he never shut up long enough to do the work he was supposed to do. Shit, that man was almost as needy as my son when he was still a brat.
Brat.
He does know a lot about his craft.
Well, I know masons like him. They grow up gifted, but without a mote of discipline in their guts. Can't work with someone like that.
Do you know where he went next?
No idea. Maybe to Limoges or Angoulême. Maybe even to La Rochelle.
La Rochelle.
Seemed to have plans for every cathedral on God's green earth, but none for himself.
I understand. I'll leave you to it then.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage. Let's have a nice trip, please. 又要选了。好，还得往下什么？一路南下了，3个地方都要选，3选1是吧？ Important and Freeport Town, another site with another cathedral. 肯定选 cathedral 的。那刻意绕远了会怎么样 ？La Rochelle.
We had just left
Come on.
Tours when I suddenly felt dizzy.
不会吧？
I stopped and made rest, trying to catch my breath, then lost my breakfast in a ditch at the side of the road.
什么玩意儿？
To my horror, our baby too had grown pale, his breath shallow like that of an old man. I tried not to panic, but the next inn was a long distance away and we couldn't stay on the road where it was wet and cold.
Come on, head back and rest. Make it to Poitiers. 难道还会挂呢？我不信。
I managed to walk
Hold
until
on.
the sun had fully risen before I keeled over. A knife merchant who'd been travelling behind me flagged down a coach heading back to Tours and haggled with the coachman to carry me back to an inn.
不会吧？体力不支了是吧？只能回去了，往前走
Back
了
in
不行。
Tours, the fever got worse. I remember people carrying me into a room, laying me on a bed. I tried to feed my baby, but after that, everything turned into a blur. When I awoke, Jack was standing next to my bed.
什么玩意儿？
He scolded me for following him. You know you could go anywhere you want, he whispered. Why be stupid and follow me?
这你不做噩梦
I
了？
tried to answer, but he just opened the window and jumped out, heading toward ancient Greece.
Ancient
or maybe
Greece.
all the way to Arabia.
Arabia.
And in my feverish mind, I followed him.
什么？不会 game over 了？ 哎，怎么突然跟鬼片一样了呢？啊，你疯了吧？做梦吗这 ？The cradle of civilization 是吧 ？The birthplace of philosophy. Arabia and actual Greece 嘛。我靠，你这感觉你要成魔女
The
了
further I went,
我
the
操！
angrier I got. For years, I'd been fighting for my family. I'd committed myself to an oath to my father. I'd built up a business to sustain it, and even married a man I despised so I could create a future for the people around me. I'd known nothing but my duty to the men in my life, while the man I was trying to find lived a life of casual irresponsibility. He traveled the world on a whim to learn about mathematics and philosophy, while I had to raise the child he'd fathered. When could I ever do anything just for myself? I asked the world as I went on.
Kingsbridge 啊，是在做梦。怎么可能 Jack 突然出现？是你想多了而已。
I'd travelled in a circle all the way to the edge of the world and back, only to return to the place of our failure. With my eyes closed, I listened to the sound of ripping yarn and crumbling walls, and of coaches carrying good people away into a cloud of crimson dust. When the last moat had settled, I opened my eyes again and found myself in a dirty little room. An old maid was sitting next to my bed and smiled at me, then handed me my baby. Oh, dear God, he still looked so pale. The more I tried to keep him warm, the colder he felt. Oh, please, God, let him live. Don't punish him for my own sins. I gently caressed his head until finally he put his mouth to my breast and drank more and more, becoming greedier with every swallow. We had both been spared. We rested one more day. Then I gathered my things and headed back to the cathedral to thank the Lord for his mercy.
好，又回到这儿了。I need to thank the Lord for sparing our baby's life. Thank the Lord. 这儿是吧 ？Mother Mary.
I thank you, dear Lord.
All right,
I
steady
thank
now.
you for having spared my child. I thank you for...
Don't let go until it's done.
But why are you showing mercy on me? I failed everyone I cared about. I failed Jack. I failed my brother. And if I never return, I would also break the oath I had given Father. It's just that I feel like I've never had a life of my own. I've always fought for others. And this may be the very first time that I fight for something that I only want for myself. Maybe I should just go back and help rebuild Kingsbridge. Maybe Jack doesn't even care for me anymore. Amen. Huh.
哈什么 ？What's that statue？ 这个，哎，这不是那个吗？这居然是个伏笔，
I've seen one of those before.
牛逼啊
It's amazing, isn't it?
！Apprentice，
The man who did that really had it in him.
I agree. He always did.
Oh, you knew Master Jacques.
Yes, but it's been a while since I last saw him.
It's a shame that the Master let him go. In just 1 month, he did so many things.
What did he do?
He came up with ideas for how to make the construction easier. But the Master didn't want to hear it. To tell you the truth, everyone thinks that he feared for his own job having someone like that around.
啊
The last thing Jack did was carve that corbel. It was the one thing the Master let him do. Then when he was done, he was asked to leave.
Your master said he had no discipline.
let me tell you something. Jacques worked very hard on it. He was impatient and had a temper, but you could see that he tried to overcome it. Conquering that rock was very important to him.
Oh, I understand that so well. Do you happen to know where he went next?
He wanted to walk the pilgrim trail to Santiago de Compostela.
The Camino? The Way of St. James?
He said he might find someone there who knew his father.
Just one more thing. How was he when he left?
Never thought about that. Relieved, I guess. He seemed ready for something new.
Thank you so much for your help.
Think nothing of it. And good luck on your travels. May you find what you are looking for.
Far away.
Isn't it odd? Just when you stop looking, you come across the most curious of things. Like these 3 devices that one of my merchants brought back from Baghdad.
什么情况？是哪儿啊？
Oh no. Is it another one of your Banu Musa toys, Rashid?
They're not toys, Adriel. They're objects of scholarly ingenuity and reflection.
I will let my valued friend from the north do the honors.
哎，
Jack, if you may.
Present all the 3 devices. 啊，我来看的是什么地方 ？Follett.
Let me draw your attention to the magnificent songbird.
Southern builders are geniuses.
And then
Donkey device, one
to
of
that
the
wondrous
Rash's
donkey
new
next to the
toys.
entrance.
Country far east of here. Far east of here.
Although, the most astounding thing of all stands right between them.
Bowl with
That
water.
statuette.
Songbird device.
Ah,
Another new
precisely.
device.
But, one thing at a time. Let us let Jack decide
No, it's too
what
heavy.
to demonstrate first.
Songbird device. Small container. It's empty.
He likes to take his time, doesn't he?
Must never know I burned down a cathedral. Plain wood with some stone ice, with no mechanism or machinery.
Well, otherwise the other 2 devices might appear bland and boring in comparison.
I agree.
"这是感觉是跟毕业考试一样，是吧？要我来把这个东西给试验出来，是吧？
What is he doing now?
Not much, I suppose.
Now, watch the head. Just any moment now.
Oh.
There. Did you see?
It threw up.
Rashid, this is disgusting.
Oh, far from it. Would you kindly explain how it works, Jack?
It's pure magic.
It's pure magic. Is it?
I've heard that these northerners believe in all kinds of
这
things.
个也不像法国人。
That God has a son made of flesh and blood, for example.
Mocking one's prophets can go in both directions, Adriel.
Adrio.
I am very certain that my God can take your weak little jokes, Rashid.
So, how does it work?
That small floating bowl has a hole at the bottom, gradually filling it with water. Once the bowl is full, it pulls on a string, making the ball drop from the mouth. The ball then hits a weight, pulling the bowl back up. Thus, resetting the entire mechanism.
If you timed it perfectly, you could make it drop a ball at every hour.
Turning it into a clock. How clever.
For me, it's still nothing more than a puking donkey.
Show us more, Rashid.
Anyone care for some tea?
Thank you, my daughter. We will have some as soon as Jack has finished our presentation.
Mind if I watch?
Of course
紧
not.
张，还能跟他交流了呢，紧张。我觉得肯定有这一段，肯定有这一段。
Jack is a friend of the house.
什么玩意儿呢 ？Mount for Water Bowl， 这个应该可以点嘛？
A brilliant man, a scholar and a talented artist.
反正肯定要搞点醋味剧情。
Now we need to add some water.
Now
Just the other day, he explained Euclid to me.
Euclid，
I could watch this man scoop up water all day.
What is that?
感觉像一个艺人一样。来
A Greek who wrote a book called The Elements of Geometry.
，Elements of Geometry。
It's so beautiful it will make you cry. Just listen.
啊，这连在一起的是吧？可以了。The Banu Musa 应该是伊斯兰教还是什么教呢 ？The Banu Musa brothers were three scholars 吧 ？Persian 是波斯是吧？应该是波斯，波斯帝国 Persian descent who lived in 什么？这什么叫 Baghdad in 9th century. They are known for the book of ingenious devices. A large illustrated collection of mechanical appliances and automata. Those automata were largely designed for entertainment, but featured innovative engineering. The brothers also wrote books on astronomy, astrology, and geometry, the last of which had a great influence on both Islamic and European mathematicians. 这挺直接的。
How marvelous.
How does it work?
Maybe it's a miracle.
Right.
Go on, Jack.
还有一个
Tell them.
继续扯淡，
It
就
is possessed by an evil spirit.
就不解释。
Is this what you people tell each other in your church, Rashid? That modern machinery is created by the devil?
Rashi，
Of course not. Jack is just teasing you. What happens is this. There is a water wheel hidden in the back, rotating an axis that in return moves a sequence of small cylinders.
哇，
It lifts and drops these cylinders like fingers playing a flute.
But who is blowing into the flute?
Steam.
Steam?
Yes. When I opened the pipe, it gradually pushed itself into the tube.
The power of steam. For once, I must agree, this is
这
brilliant.
感觉学术研讨会。
Of course. It was created by a Muslim after all.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. What else have you got, Rashid?
还有吗？Rashi，
One could join those two and build a singing donkey clock. One song after every hour.
要赞美他。
That would be pretty clever.
I know, right? You could be the one to build it.
Oh, that would be unfair. It's your invention.
I would let you have it. Or we design it together.
想看艾丽安娜吃醋
You still haven't shown us that statuette.
？Statue，这还能动了
Of
吗？
course.
不管了，我要先调情，
If you may.
我要先行色。
The Egyptians
She brought
translated
tea.
it into Arabic.
Egyptian,
and
Arabic.
Now the Englishmen are turning it into
Latin. It's too clever.
How very
Don't let me
peculiar.
distract you, Jack.
啊，这样的。这能干嘛？
Oh, you will love this. Just
这还能拿起来，然后呢？放哪儿啊？ I need to put it somewhere cold 啊，知道提示你了。Somewhere cold， 没有地方 cold 这儿 small container 还能拿起来吗？还能拿起来。Somewhere cold， 这儿是。然后呢，它就可以了是吧
And now?
Just be patient, but don't look away.
干嘛跟变魔术一样？
It takes some time for her to...
跳舞吗？
To do what?
Is it crying? Isn't that amazing?
No, it's irritating.
Irritating.
Rashid, what is going on?
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Rashid, please.
We all know that there is no such thing as a man-made miracle.
And this piece of wood is very clearly made by man.
I very much agree, my friends. But so far, none of us has an explanation.
All we know for certain is that her glassy eyes shed tears when you move her from warmth into cold.
Like a plant at sunrise? Like dew? The only difference is the surface, that's all.
I think you may be onto something.
Am I? Of course, I had no intention of disturbing your conversation. But if you can find out why there's dew gathering on a plant, you may understand why that woman is so weepy.
就有露珠吗？露水吗？
So, who wants a cup of tea?
I'll have some.
Your daughter is quite something, Rashid. A scholar in her own right.
对了，露珠。
I know. I'd rather she wasn't. It would make marrying her off so much easier.
Oh, I'm certain that won't stay a problem for long.
Maybe the dew originates from invisible water in the air. Water that stays hidden when it's hot.
On the 什么 Camino de Compostela， 这又不是法语，这个字很明显不是法语。
The pilgrim trails across France converged at Osterbat in the foothills of the Pyrenees.
Pyrenees。
There, the group of 20 or so pilgrims who had been travelling alongside me since I'd left Tours swelled to
英文
about
名，英文的
70.
地名就很难记了，还有别的语。
Some were prosperous citizens, some probably on the run from justice, a few drunks, and several monks and clergymen. Several languages were spoken, including Flemish, a German tongue, and a southern French language called Oc. Nevertheless, there was no lack of communication among them, and as we crossed the Pyrenees, they sang, played games, told stories, and in several cases had love affairs. While my baby and I kept mostly to ourselves.
Ganz schön frech, die mit ihrem Kind.
这是德语，这听不懂。
Hush now. Hmm?
原来是有别的语言的。那怎么搞的？这个时候全世界都通用英语，这个时候全世界肯定不会通用英语。Go forward, apologize to the pilgrims, rock the baby. Hammer song 呀。
Richtig dreist. 啊，都要选的是吧？但你 apologize 也没用啊。
I'm sorry.
他听不懂。
He has to cry himself out before he'll fall asleep. It will give you a strong voice one day, won't it? Do you have children?
Keep talking to the pilgrims. 继续 talking.
How long have you been traveling to get here? I met pilgrims from as far east as Franconia.
Franconia?
I am sorry. We'll go for a walk so you can get some rest.
哦，还是要选
Kann ein
Calm
Mann
the
nicht
Baby.
einfach mal seine Ruhe haben?
听不懂，听不懂。
Der Weg aus Babenberg war doch anstrengend genug.
German 啊，都 German pilgrim. I don't understand them. Is that a German tongue? 是 German， 是 German.
Ein Kind hat ja auch gar nichts verloren. Stimmt doch, oder?
Path leading away from camp.
Jetzt ist's aber gut.
Down the riverside. 啊，从这儿过来是吧 Back to campfire. The river Aga. Most pilgrims stay near the spring town. I thought the river would be quieter. Now I am the one making all the noise. 谁在哭啊 ？Blind woman， 这个什么 ？Bridge. The town was granted bridge privileges. Merchants profit greatly.
Come back to me. Please come back to me.
Dear Lord, what are you doing? You should get out of the water. It's freezing.
My ring. I lost my ring. Dear Lord, please show mercy.
夫人们应该来了吗？没来。哦，可以 search for a ring. Camino crossing Pyrenees was hard. Now it's all way west.
Where are you? Where did you go?
Moist soil. 没有是吧？都没有啊。哦，看到了 ，search for is it？ 看到了，发光。
Come back to me. Please come back to me.
I found it.
Yes! Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You are a very kind woman. So very, very kind.
I'm glad I could help.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are you getting warmer?
I am, thank you.
I can see this ring is very precious to you.
It was a gift from my stepmother. She thought I would stay forever, but I didn't.
Why did you leave?
Oh, I thought I didn't belong. She always said I was her daughter, but I was sure she was lying. I was so selfish and so stupid. Too stupid to see I really was happy.
Maybe you really weren't happy.
I don't know. I was very young and thought I was unhappy because I didn't live close to the sea. But in the end, the sea did not feel the same about me. The cold there made me sick. It took away my sight.
It was courageous of you to leave. You did what your heart told you to.
I was stupid. So stupid.
Ah, that's why you went on the pilgrimage.
Yes, so that St. James might see my devotion, and I will be united with my mother in heaven. I'm just not as kind as you. Not kind at all.
Actually, we two have quite a few things in common. I too am trying to make amends with the one man I loved the most. I was told he went straight to Santiago.
You will know soon.
Not soon enough. It's still 4 weeks till I get there.
He'll be there, I'm sure of it.
I hope so. I just feel that with every day that passes, I'm losing him a bit more.
确实如此。
And that the only thing I can allow myself still to hope for is not love, but forgiveness.
I understand.
Hey, hush now. Not long now and our journey will be over,
Camino de Santiago. Camino de Santiago, also known as the Way of St. James, is Christian pilgrimage route to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela, where the remains of Jesus' apostles, St. James the Greater, were presumably put to rest. The pilgrimage to Santiago, besides Jerusalem and Rome, is one of the most important pilgrimages in Christianity, and is believed to be one of the only ways to free a pilgrim of their sins. By the 12th century, it has become a well-organized undertaking. Even a book was written as a travel guide for pilgrims, the Codex Calixtinus, supporting the pilgrims in completing their travel. The scallop shell is used to guide the pilgrims on their way and serves as a symbol of St. James and the Camino, because at the end of their travel, the pilgrims will almost have reached the ocean. 这样，所以朝圣者朝着就大海，还继续走了是吧 ？Bilbao，等等，这我要搜一下。西班牙不在这个地方呀，不可能啊！法国再往东应该不是西班牙，是西班牙，不可能西班牙，不可能啊！西班牙应该对，它在南面，这完全这跟西班牙毛关系没有啊！法国再往东边应该是比利时，或者是什么，甚至是卢森堡或者是德国的，那为什么毕尔巴鄂人？这 Bilbao 应该是西班牙的地方，对啊。怎么搜都应该在西班牙，不管了，这就不是很懂。Walk to Camino.
The woman's name was Alba. She came from a small town somewhere in Catalonia. I quickly got used to her constantly feeling out for her stepmother's ring and the sad guilt that would always follow in her milky eyes.
阿尔巴 ，Catalonia 那更加不对了 ，Catalonia 是加泰罗尼亚的，也就是说他从法国一直往南，已经走到西班牙了，是吧？啊，那确实像西班牙语的，那对了，这毕尔巴鄂了，啊，那已经真的到毕尔巴鄂了是吧？我靠，这不会吧？你从英国到法国都好理解，从法国一直往南走到那个地方去，加泰罗尼亚都出来，那不可能在法国嘞，那肯定在西班牙嘞。
I wasn't sure if she appreciated my company, but I couldn't leave her on her own either. By the time we reached Los Arcos, she'd stopped talking, while I kept on dropping a kind word here and there to let her know I was still by her side.
为什么这个一个 Espanol 他会说英文呢？还说还挺溜的。Burgos, Logroño, Saragossa， 这很明显已经不是法语。Leon.
Alba believed herself to be of weak mind and body, and yet she walked the Camino with a strong sense of purpose that willed her onward. It made me wonder about what I'd told her about my own journey. Did I hope for love? Or was I really traveling because I needed him to forgive me?
想多了。
But what was there to forgive? My decision to marry Alfred had been in the best interest of the people of Shiring. It was a sacrifice I had to make to stop the evil reign of William
那
Hamley.
你也没有 stop。
These questions had haunted me for a long time now. But if I really was going to see Jack soon,
自当结尾估计
it was time to make up my mind.
估计就见到 Jack， 但是呢，发现 Jack 跟另外一个这个女子关系特别好，肯定是以这个作为结尾。然后下一章来这个兵士前线是吧？啊，确实已经到这儿了。什么 Castilla 马德列都来了呀，马德列，波尔图在这儿呢，这确实已经到西班牙了。这能不能移动了是吧？不能移动。从法国一直南下，这里应该还在法国，这边应该还在法国，法国一路南下，巴塞罗那在这儿，巴塞罗那马德里在这儿，这已经是西班牙境内了 ，Spain 了，现在可能不叫 Spain，Camino，Leon。
Around Lyon, the path began to gradually turn uphill. It was only 2 more weeks till we'd reached Santiago.
Santiago.
The baby was in a good mood, and so, surprisingly, was Alba.
Alba. 这个字可以念 Leon， 也可以念 Leon， 重音在 O 上。
After Astorga, the trail got more difficult. Alba became slower and slower, and we had to rest more. She became quiet again. The strain on her old body grew, and she worried that she might not be able to reach the end. Still, we managed to push onward.
这也算是朝圣的一部分。有趣的是，这小屁孩都已经这么久了，怎么还没长大呢？
The next morning, she refused to get up.
这样的吗？
Her breathing was disturbingly shallow, and she hardly noticed me touching her forehead. Everything hurts, she said, and urged me to continue without her.
挂了是吧？
Of course, I stayed with her. I brought her food and water and sat by her side. But day after day, her condition grew worse. She kept on urging me to go, to find Jack, saying the monks of Ponferrada would take care of her.
肯定假的。Continue to stay.
I'd hardly known her, and most of the time she'd tried to push me away, as if she considered herself a nuisance that slowed me down and who didn't deserve company. It wasn't until a few moments before she died that, for the first time, she smiled at me, and I like to believe that she saw me smile back. I still like to believe that here, in this unlikely place, dying next to a near stranger, she'd found a moment of serenity and happiness, but she'd not reached Santiago. When I left, that thought still haunted me. To see that a journey could come to an end so suddenly. But what would be different if she had reached Santiago? Could she have been disappointed by what she found?
这个地名现在还在啊 ，Santiago de Compostela， 圣地亚哥德孔波斯特拉，这地方还在，确实存在。刚刚地图上你看到的位置就是现在的位置。对，就这儿。你地图拿开来一看，然后西班牙这个边角，这里再往下应该是葡萄牙了。边角就这地方，圣地亚哥应该是有了名的，可能有大教堂啊什么的。又回到谁了？又回到 Jack 这里是吗？ After 1 month of traveling on the way of St. James.
After months of hard travel, the child and I finally reached Santiago de Compostela. In the evening, we attended Mass in the great cathedral, then started to roam the town looking for my dear Jack.
My dear Jack.
It was almost dawn when finally a priest pointed me to an inn close by.
见到了。异国风情啊，真是。Find out if Jack was here. Jaws. Someone left them here. Or forgot them. Another group of drunk pilgrims. Oh! I'm starting to forget details of his face. 这么样，1年就 forget 了，你这好像有点不是真爱啊。硬是2是吧？这个呢 ，cathedral 啊 ，another cathedral. Jack may have been there. 这个呢 ，fireplace, a crackling fire, cozy and warm. innkeeper， 这个呢 resting pilgrim。Night here is mine. Sun will rise up soon. Innkeeper, she must see many people passing by. I'm getting closer. 先跟他交流了。
Buenos dias. Do you understand me?
Buenos dias 还行。
Sinto bem, pero não temos camas disponíveis.
No,
对吧？这
I
好
don't
像也
need
不
a
算
room.
西班牙语，感
I
觉是
was
像
told
加泰
a
罗尼亚
friend
语。
of mine stayed here some time ago. A red-haired Englishman called Jack. Do you remember him?
Non.
Eu só te falo em galego, minha rula.
Minha
Français?
rula.
English?
听不懂。很明显，既不是 Français 也不是 English。他能听懂法语的。
Have you seen a man called Jack Builder? Jack? He's a mason.
Jack?
Yes. Have you seen him?
Pásanche por aquí centos de peregrinos e cada un eche de seu pai. Vas ter que ser algo máis específica.
I don't understand.
不行，我只能抓到极个别的词，一句话大概能看到1到2个词。这个他真的是这个真的是西班牙语吗？啊，有可能也真是，毕竟我能看懂1、2个单词。我感觉这加泰罗尼亚语，我操，去哪儿啊？没用啊！那什么地方都去不了了，你能进去吗？肯定不能进去。可能要硬交流是吗？
told that Jack stayed here.
可能要硬交流。
How can I make myself understood?
不会吧？啊，对，这本书很可能是西班牙语。所以阿莫反正在不是英文单词。
I'm looking for a man who likes to read a lot.
E logo anda sempre cun libro en riba.
Libro en libro.
Have you seen anyone like that?
Pero, por que levas un libro en riba? Vas descangallar co peso.
She doesn't even understand that I'm looking for a person yet.
这个语言，我觉得不是纯的西班牙语。有些词感觉不太能见到。它有些词是一样的，这个 libro 是一样的 ，libro 就书的意思 ，book 的意思。你再过去也没用啊。亮剑。
Glad I never had to use my dagger on my journey. I'm only keeping it for emergencies.
这样的防身用的。啊，对，这个可以给他看的。是我就觉得很烦人。
Oh, que cousinha! Eche rubio.
See,
Rubio.
redhead.
这问了也没用，他就听不懂。对牛弹
Have
琴
you
的。
seen his father, Padre del Niño, Jack Builder?
Ven sendo un peregrino?
What?
É un peregrino?
Oh, no. He's not a pilgrim.
Entón, quen ven sendo?
见了鬼了吧？这还真的给你模拟成这副样子了，我操！真的他妈去异国他乡听不懂语言的人 ，He's amazing。这是说什么呢 ？Point at something， 可能听不懂。指石头。
Let me show you something.
干嘛？没用啊！啊，拒绝了是吗？搞
She
了半天。
knows that Jack likes to read. Now I need to somehow tell her that he's a mason.
啊，这样的。
Let me show you something.
真麻烦，圈里寻夫记，结果会让你啊，哎 ，Jazz 可以吗？结果可能会让你大吃一惊。
He likes to craft things, like jars or strange machinery.
这倒可以。
Ai, que diantres andará a dicir a muller esa?
然后呢？那说了。
He's a mason.
Ai, mal rayo, me partas entendo o que me estás a contar.
Is there a guest who could translate?
Is there someone inside who might be able to translate for us?
Nena, que temer que quen te entenda.
A translator? A guest?
Agora mesmo estanche todos a dormir. Case che diría que volvas mañá pola mañá.
这好像意思说他们都已经睡觉了呢。
Let me show you something.
哦 ，cathedral 对。
He's a mason. He builds things like that.
这段也太 painful 了。
Eche masón. Albanel.
Sí, sí, a mason.
Sí.
It's the same word in Galician.
Galicia.
Por aquí pasan un amorea de
Galicia 是不是语言？这肯定不是。
¿No me podrías decir algo máis sobre él?
Oín falar dun masón que dis que se dedica a traducir libros en Toledo.
Polo visto, di que se chama Jack.
Yes, Jack. Have you seen him?
Non sei cal será o seu apelido, pero ben é certo que non chai moitos masóns rubios aos que lles guste ler. Se tan desesperada está, por que non vai a Toledo a comprobalo por si mesma?
Entón, marchou para Toledo.
Toledo， 这个 Galician 是什么？加里西亚啊，加里西亚语是吧 ？Galician， 但加里西亚也是西班牙的一个地方，所以你可以理解成西班牙的这一个方言。那当然不是现在正规的这个标准的西班牙语，所以很多词能相同，但是有些什么助动词啊什么的完全不一样。Fuck off， Toledo。
He went to Toledo.
A Toledo marchou, sí.
Marchou, sí.
Di que o teu Jack podería estar en Toledo.
All right, so I will go to Toledo then. Gracias.
Gracias.
I just pray that I understood you correctly.
哇，玩命的这张，而且还没结束，还要再去。现在雷勇了，去哪儿啊？谁啊？哪儿啊 ？Toledo。我靠，第3本书的第1章就这么跌宕起伏了吗？这我别告诉我要去 Portugal 了。After 1 month after leaving Compostela， 我靠，这又是1个月。这长征了呢。Toledo。 Don Toledo。 啊，可能还真是
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Parlez-vous français? English?
Of course.
哦
How may I help you?
这个英文
I
怎么
was told a
这么
man
纯
named
正？
Jack Builder lives in this house.
Who told you this?
A group of scholars living at the edge of town. They said he used to translate old scriptures about mathematics before he moved here.
这么厉害？
Please wait here. I will talk with Master
啊，
Rashid.
来，总算遇到了是吧？Parlez-vous français？ Parlez-vous français？ 不愧是贵族啊！贵族的基本修养就是至少会几门这个常见的外语什么的。不愧是 noble aliena。Pillar， 这干嘛？能进去吗？那个，然后一看就看到这个 Jack 跟那个少女关系很好，这才是我最关心的桥段。Real Spring，Wondrous Fountain。哇靠，那段真的太痛苦了，那就不是西班牙语的，它是 Galician， 这个语言现在都没什么人用了。就好比你去天朝农村，人家跟你讲方言，那你他妈让外国人怎么听得懂？绝对听不懂，跟疯掉了。你好歹至少说普通话。要说流氓方言我也会说，但这不是对外国人说的，对自己人可以有时候说方言，反正大家都听得懂。太鬼畜了 ！Cloister in Kingsbridge， 来吧，这房子有点中式风格，反正跟这个欧洲风格完全不一样。哦，这不是 Jack 战斗过的地方吗 ？Go inside, stay out， 那肯定要 stay out。啊，就没了是吧？那只能 go inside 是吧？那没办法，只能 go inside 是吧？这有点擅闯私宅，感觉不太好。干嘛 ？Slingshot。Small table looks well crafted. Donkey device, beautiful craftsmanship. So much more lifelike than a painting. 这感觉 Jack 这活还不错，这地方待着挺舒服啊。而且身边有几个学者，对吧？至少不是这个打仗的，看起来挺安详的。这地方不错。艾丽安娜就算了，我已经不认识你了，让我们分道扬镳，彼此开始自己的生活。 看来只能拿这个了是吧？嗯
It's his.
你怎么知道 it's his？这就是个 slingshot 而已，干嘛？拿起来 ，Jack is here. This is all the proof I need. All the proof I need. 你以为你在玩逆转裁判呢 ？Jack 来过这儿是吧？找到 Jack 的踪迹，成就一点什么？原来如此，那出去了。然后呢？哦，对，没有先遇到 Jack， 但是呢，先遇到这位女性人，肯定的。你他妈是谁？嗯，你怎么闯进来的？嗯。
Oh, there you are. May I ask who let you stroll around our house?
Who are you?
I was asked to wait here.
Yes, my servant told me already.
My
father's not here at the moment, so you'll have to make do with me. Unfortunately, I must disappoint you. There's no one called Jack living in this house.
这样啊，这应该是骗你的。
He must be here. I found his slingshot.
What? Who allowed you inside my father's archive?
对，这不行。
I didn't mean to be disrespectful of your hospitality.
I just hope for your sake you didn't touch anything. Every piece in there is precious to my father, even that slingshot.
你态度好差啊。
I'm sorry, but this is not easy for any of us.
发生了什么？
I think you should know that Jack and I are promised to each other. Maybe we should go inside. The sun's burning, and my mother doesn't need to hear us.
原来如此。
Jack told me about you. You are Aliena. You're the one who rejected him and married his stepbrother.
对。然后呢？
And now you want him back.
I want， 这一定要选这个了是吧？
I'm here because I love
鬼
him.
畜啊！我不要选阿里安娜剧情，你自己选吧。
He always said that he had come here to find out about his family. But instead, he found out about everything else. About philosophy, mathematics. When he and my father met, it was love at first sight. They studied together and made great plans. But in the end, Jack would always start talking about his cathedral again. This great church he would build one day. Rib vaults and pointed windows. He'd ramble on about it for hours and stare up at that ceiling. We three sat here for hours and talked. And then in the evenings, it would be just the two of us. So many strange ideas about the future. Some barely more than silly dreams. Others almost in arm's reach.
He always had his head in the clouds.
Oh, yes. Well, he's not here anymore.
啊，走了。
My father had offered him work as a master builder here in Toledo.
Toledo，
He would have
这么
been
念。
well off and free to spend his evenings under vaults like this, with me as his wife. But in the end, he refused.
原来如此，你也被拒绝了。那
Tell me,
看来没有那个剧情。
Did you really marry his stepbrother?
It was the hardest decision I ever made. But it also felt like a sacrifice I had to make to fulfill a promise I made to my father. It was all for nothing. I thought I had no choice. I didn't want to hurt him. Believe me.
I do. You know, he left me because of you. Even after all you did to him, he couldn't let go. You can be glad that you ran into me and not my mother. She was enraged when he left.
He can have that effect on people.
But apart from that, we made our peace with him. Father even gave him one of his favorite pieces of his collection as a parting gift. A small wooden statue with stone eyes in exchange for his slingshot.
Would you mind telling me where he went?
He went to Paris.
啊，又回去
To
了。
work on the Cathedral of Saint-Denis.
Saint-Denis.
He said he never found out about his father, so there was no reason to stay down here anymore.
Paris?
Yes. If you find him there, tell him I don't miss him.
Thank you, and all the best to your family.
Thank you. What is the child's name, by the way?
Well, he has none yet. I wouldn't name him without Jack.
Isn't that a bit silly?
Maybe. But he's his son as well as mine. It's his right to have a say in it too.
Then off to Paris. That baby needs a name.
He will get one. Thank you.
居然这么文明，都没有吵架，而且还没结束。我靠，你还要走啊？马德雷的，原来是原路返回的是吧？我靠，你这绕远路了。不过其实也不是这样，看起来地图上是绕远路，其实如果你直接走，直接连线过去的话，就要跋山涉水。
I travelled back along the way of St. James, passing through Astorga, Lyon, and Burgos. I crossed the Pyrenees, revisiting Bordeaux, Angoulême, Poitiers, but never stayed longer than one night. The closer I came to Paris, the stronger my old doubts and fears resurfaced. If Jack really was there, what was I to say to him?
这选哪个？这，我靠！我还选这个。
We had to hear each other out before we could walk on again, in whatever direction that would be.
Three months later， 哇，这么久！现在3小时都不需要。帕利，回到了帕利。这有条河是我觉得很奇怪，一点也不奇怪。帕利的城中心确实有条河。对，那巴黎肯定有大教堂，怎么可能会没有大教堂？肯定有的。Basilica of Saint-Denis。上依然没结束啊！马吉哪干也世界旅行啊，不是世界旅行，欧洲旅行啊。Cathedral Gate, I won't leave, not now.
Can't just leave.
我知道
Even if he doesn't want to see me, he deserves to see his son.
可以。Workers, he's not here. Stones, Jack must hate us. Masons, no, not him, no. Construction site. 那肯定不可能让你在大地图上直接看到 Jack， 肯定突然来了一段，这段描写应该很重要。哪怕是写，这不会是他吧？干嘛？点不了你 ？Find Jack， 难道要用这个？也没用啊，不能交流啊。我感觉就是他，但不能兑换。还在过去 ，colorful light from the windows， beautiful， 好 breathtaking， 然后呢
There. Are we awake then? You almost missed this.
来了是吧？
Look at these colorful windows. Look at the light.
那肯定就是他嘞，都猜到了。为什么要 laugh?
Ali.
We came to see you, Jack.
We? Is he?
He is your son.
He's your son. 这句话根据语境会有很多不同的效果的。
My son.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. Ali, where do we go from here?
Wherever we go, I want to go with you.
Will you marry me? Both of you.
We will. We stayed in Paris as husband and wife. And our son, Tommy.
Tommy.
The days went by quickly.
然后就几年之后了。
Jack had learned much working as a builder in Saint-Denis.
Saint-Denis.
Days became months. Then after a year, we both grew restless. Where can we go from here? We asked ourselves again. We both confessed that we wanted to see our families, our friends. And then we knew where we wanted to go.
就回去了是吧？
Home.
这一章
Even if it was in shambles.
就是寻夫记，但寻到了，然后下一章就回去了。雪娃回来了是吧 ？Harbor 啊，所以这章挺长的，就是这个。
The ship to England will leave soon.
What's going on here?
Whatever it is, if the crowd doesn't clear up, we'll miss our ship.
Calm the crowd. 我操，紧张。Our carriage. Nobody pays attention. 应该已经过了段时间了。
Could make the horse get their attention.
Or ride it through the crowd.
That sounds a bit dangerous, doesn't it?
这就算了。
You think?
这还是算了。现在主人公是谁？哦，主人公是 Jack 是吧？回来了是吧 ？Our chest, priest。我靠，这现在的诺曼底不能叫法国，现在诺曼底感觉不错，为什么要回去呢？是我就不回去了。回去干嘛？回去他妈打仗，丢命了。 The insides of the box kept her warm, and the wood slightly damp. 什么东西？这东西 ？Priest, a priest. 还能交流。
Do you know what's going on?
Oh, chaos. I can't get these people to calm down. God knows I tried.
What happened?
The jongleur told the crowd a few stories. Then he sold people some miracle charms, but it was just fairy tales and painted stones.
Painted stones.
Well, it always is.
I know, but I'd need a real miracle to calm them down now. Otherwise, they'll rip him apart.
原来如此。靠，又要我来干东西。Nervous jongleur. The crowd's about to beat him up. Nervous. We should help him. Angry mob. A commotion. About to get violent. Impossible to get through.
Excuse me.
What's going on here?
He's a thief. He told us lies and stole our money.
But is it?
That poor man. We need to help him.
给他穿上这个是
She
吧
doesn't do anything yet, but if I stood with her where it's colder.
Stood with her when it's colder. 不懂哎，这干嘛呀？那看来只能用这个了。Throw him into the sea. 都不行的。啊，不能干了是吧？那还能干嘛呀？这 our carriage 也没东西了。
Have you tried calming them down?
I did, but a single priest just wasn't enough.
Single priest just wasn't enough.
Oh, what a remarkably foreign-looking likeness of the Holy Virgin.
Do you think this might calm them down?
I've already tried appealing to their faith. It would require a direct word from God to calm them down.
Behold the Holy Virgin.
If it takes a miracle to make these fools stop, then give them one.
You're right. I have to make her weep. It's the only way.
Make her weep. 但问题是没有地方可以放，放哪儿啊？这儿，这儿。
No, it's not impressed.
那么应该放哪儿？啊，原来如此，这都可以。面向大海，然后流出了眼泪。其实就是一个温差，水蒸气液化了，就流成眼泪。还是不行。
You see, it's working.
Your friend Rashid must be quite the miracle worker.
可以的是吗 ？Liquid is forming on her eyes. Angry mob.
Look! What's going on? The Holy Mother. She's crying.
Revere the Holy Mother, for she has blessed us with a sign from the heavens. Cease your doings right now, and witness the miracle.
It's true! Lord in heaven. Why is she crying?
Because we need 这太弱智了。
She weeps for your sins. What has this man done to you that you would treat him like a wild animal?
He tricked us and took our coin.
And you would kill him for your own foolishness. The Holy Virgin weeps, for you are not living by the word of God.
It is the Mother of God.
Forgive us, Holy Mother. Where did she come from?
For hundreds of years, she languished in the land of the Saracens. Dormant, she has been waiting for the one to bring her home.
Listen to what he has to say. The Holy Virgin has chosen this young family to protect her. Tell us all where you are headed.
Her destination is beyond these waters. In the small town of Kingsbridge, in the earldom of Shiring. There she wants to rest.
Kingsbridge? Where's that?
Hail Mary!
Make way for the Holy Virgin!
Hallelujah!
Make Robert well!
Hallelujah.
Huh?
Blessed Mary, let my daughter conceive.
紧张。
Give us a good harvest!
还有意外收获。
They're donating to ask for her blessing.
Oh. The Weeping Madonna shall hear your prayer. And with your donations, I shall build her a new shrine at Kingsbridge, a cathedral.
这个不会是 Alan 吧
It's you.
Who do you mean?
You. The red-haired ghost.
Red-haired ghost.
A ghost.
My husband is very much alive.
啊，这不
I've
是 Alan，
known
这
him
不是
since
Alan，
he was 12 years old.
这应该没过几年。
But he drowned. By God, you drowned. 24 years ago.
24 years ago.
The white ship. My poor son. My Jacques.
His name was Jacques.
Jacques Cherbourg.
Jacques Cherbourg.
啊，这是那个奶奶是吧？这个算是祖母奶奶了。原来如此，也就是他老爸在跟他不算生下他，留下种了之后在船上去世。这段故事讲过的，什么地方讲过的？是啊 ，Chapter 15 The Journey， 所以叫 The Journey 是吧？哎呀，操，真长啊 Journey。You tried not to think about your upcoming journey on the ship to Normandy. You followed the coachwoman's advice and ran into the dead end in Burfield. Dead end? You followed the coachwoman's advice. You and your baby fell seriously ill, but you both managed to survive. You helped another pilgrim along the way of St. James. You snuck into Rashid's sacred archive. You stole Jack's slingshot from Rashid. You found Jack in Paris. You decided to go back to Kingsbridge. You saved a drunkard from a lynch mob. You met Jack's grandmother and finally learned about the fate of his father. 啊，那并不是被上吊了，也不是被小偷什么偷掉了，这只是 rumor 的。他是在船上溺毙的。那为什么 Alan 都会这么说？因为 Alan 自己也不知道。Chapter 16，叫啥？应该还没回去吧？但是 Home。Kingsbridge 然后就回来了。那段就一笔带过了，是吗？哎，啊，视角切回来了，是吗？切回到这个 Philip。
So much has grown, but there are no roots, no herbs.
Jonathan 几岁了？啊，这么大了是吗？这跟那个当时 Jack 和那玛莎差不多大了，10岁不到，已经过了10年了。啊，不过本来他已经6、7岁了，就2、3年了。
The garden is in disorder. I want it to be right again, but I don't know how to do it.
他还有戏份呢 ，Jonathan。像是贯穿全剧的一个人。
prior, I thought the same about Kingsbridge.
Well, what did you do?
I cleaned up.
Where do we start?
Suggest to loosen soil. Suggest to pluck weeds. To plant seed. 这都一样的。
For plants to take root, the soil must be loose and fertile.
Oh, so we have to dig?
But it's still overgrown with weeds.
So, what can we do?
Well... Some plants are weeds and must go before we can plant new seeds.
What are weeds?
They take away what the other plants need to grow. Light, water, room.
What do we do?
Pluck them.
Pluck them.
They look a lot like every other plant, so you need to learn how to tell them apart. Here, you see those? They're called wood sorrel. Let's pluck only those for now.
I'll do it.
If you insist. Make sure to pull out all of the thin roots.
And now what do I do?
Now we can prepare the soil.
So, may I dig now? Done. What's next?
Stay here. I'll be right back. Now, where did you put them?
Medius.
Ah, here they are.
这就是他说的 garden 是吧？这任务还真有用，打完了才能过来。
You always said you wanted to plant these seeds and make a new garden, Milius. I think it's about time.
妈，这是第16章。 东西还挺多的，是吗 ？Nothing but make believe， 干嘛啊？在回忆什么 ？Milius and Cuthbert。
What did you bring?
Do you remember Milius? A kind man with a warm smile. Well, he told me to give you this.
Wow.
下一章就这章，这章有个比较鬼畜的东西，到下一章再说吧，到下一期再说吧。这章其实已经到了，只是一直没地方存档。
All right. How long?
Too long for us to keep sitting here.
That long.
Some things take time. And only with patience will you receive your reward.
Why do we have to do all these things if all we had to do is wait?
Simply waiting would not have been enough, Jonathan. You just paved the way for things to take their course. They are happening right now. And in a few days' time, we will return and see the first green leaf of something new.
Oh. Is it God's reward?
Maybe.
Does he make things grow?
You made it.
No. I just planted the seed.
最后要浇水，
Now you can fetch some water from the rain barrel.
But that water's smelly. It's been there forever. There are many trees by the river. I bet that water's better.
That's a longer walk, though.
I don't mind. The distance is worth it.
Maybe you're right. It is worth it. Let's walk together then.
But I'll carry the bucket.
Kingsbridge later that day.
Why isn't Remigius holding the sermon? What's gotten into Philip?
我建了一半，还是没建完。Martha is in.
Our church lies in ruins. But all of this, these dire times, have revealed something important to us. Something that, maybe until today, I wasn't aware of.
What do you mean?
God doesn't watch us from above. While you and I have waited for God to make things better, a lot has happened. Hardships and happiness. Yesterday, I heard the choir sing a new chant and was moved beyond words. Today, Jonathan tended to our garden to make it beautiful again. And he told me of things I almost had forgotten. God doesn't work in the ways we might assume. All good and all evil the scripture tells us about are not out there or in here. They are within each of us.
Oh, 这个就是那个有意思，这个就是那个用中文来翻译的话是人之初到底是性本善还是性本恶的？我是倾向于性本恶的，说实话。
We have witnessed that man carries the devil in his heart.
所以是一个进化的过程。
But even before he can take a hold of man,
干净的净。
God is born within us, as we were created in his image. Prayer needs no special place, for we are his church. In our actions, he exists.
We are God's temple.
No man is closer to God than any other man. Whether you pray in church or on the streets of our towns, whether you're a man, woman, monk, or bishop.
Philip, look outside. You have to see them. You've got to see the horses and the colours.
Jonathan. Now, what's going on?
I heard noises and I went to look.
Calm down. What happened?
But the priest said they brought a miracle.
Who? What? What priest?
Step right up, brothers and sisters.
Priest.
For you are about to see something that will change your life.
Who is that?
They brought us a miracle.
A miracle?
Don't be shy. There is no danger, just awe that awaits you here. Ah, you must be Prior Philip.
Priest, why was Jack?
I am Brother
Reynold.
I have been sent by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Here is his letter, in case you have reasonable doubts.
给你做法了是吧 ？Letter from the Archbishop of Canterbury. Letter dated January 20th, 1141. Philip of Kingsbridge, I hereby implore you to accept the grace of the Weeping Madonna, for she has chosen Kingsbridge as her shrine. After the rumors of a miracle had come to my ears, I had called for the procession to see me. I then saw it with my own eyes. She's real. I have claimed the miracle for England, and had intended to retain her in Winchester. The guardians of the Madonna have convinced me otherwise. They have come to England only to support the rebuilding of Kingsbridge. You have my blessings. Philip of Kingsbridge, I expect you to restore your priory to be worthy of the Holy Madonna. Theobald, Archbishop of Canterbury.
We've been charged to accompany the Weeping Madonna. She is to replace the loss of your relic, Saint Adolphus the Martyr, who was taken from you, I hear, with brute force.
What?
What?
On her travel from far away Africa, she has collected donations to reward Kingsbridge for your faith in her and in the Lord.
I can't believe this. What is all this?
You do believe. That is why she came. And that is why you shall witness her miracle for yourself today.
而且这段一直不能存档。
The Weeping Madonna came to me in a faraway land named Africa. A baptized Saracen was her former guardian. And I and the custodians of the Holy Virgin were chosen to take her on a journey.
What country did you say you came from?
We have traveled all the way from a place of wonders too marvelous to behold. The faraway land of Africa.
啊，这里已经要质疑了，是吧
Africa has many countries, I've heard.
Yes, it does. I knew not her powers or destination.
质疑。
What's it like in Africa?
The sun is always shining, and miracles happen every day.
什么乱七八糟？怎么可能？
It's a land of great deserts,
骗子
fig trees, and creatures that an Englishman can't even dream up.
Like these horses. Are they horses?
They are not. To you, they might resemble horses, but the name the Africans have for these creatures is impossible to pronounce, even for me.
骆驼们。
Many bore witness to her miracle before it dawned upon me.
You mentioned there were fig trees in Africa. What are they?
It's a fruit, of course. It looks like a strawberry and tastes like a pear.
The scripture mentions these figs, and they sound nothing like that. Why is that?
No two apples look or taste alike. The same goes for figs.
我被这个人骗了。
And doubly so.
重点你要看旁边两个侍卫，
I'm getting the impression that this
你
man
不要盯着这
hasn't
个
even been
骗
to
子
Africa.
来看，
But why would he lie?
看那两个侍卫。
But I wondered, what shrine should be her shelter?
啊，这样的是吧？然后呢，因为后面这个一个是 Jack， 一个是艾莲呢，他这藏起来，故意乔装打扮成这样子而已。至于中间这个人是谁，反正到应该会解释。Don't talk to the boy in the back of the cart before unlocking this achievement. This game will continue autosave if you 啊，这不能问的是吧 ？Talk to Jonathan, Remigius, Monks, Jagler, Martha. Examine the strange animals. Examine the clothes in the back of the nothing but make believe 啊，就是你不要相信他什么。 你直接点那个人就不行，直接点那个谁呢？点那个 Jack 就不行。这里刚好存档，因为很容易丢的。我操，将近2个小时了，啊，2个小时没有，1个小时吗？不对吧？不止1个小时，1个小时43分。啊，这个人不能点，这倒可以点。Sorry.
You shall build me a new church in Kingsbridge.
Donations, junglers. 这不能点。
So we set off
palm branches
with the blessing of Archbishop Theobald of Canterbury.
行了，走了。下一期来搞东西，这个可能容易 miss 的。行啊，是第3本书看起来黄沙满天飞，但一开始的起步还可以，不知道后面会怎么发展。反正一共就7章，你要一开始高开低走的话，那最后不是这个最坏的结局，那应该不太会。